Are we on? Is it live? I apologize, folks. I'm having some technical issues. Alright, it shows that it's live, but it doesn't have everything correct. I'm not sure what's going on with my whole doohickey right now. Alright, there we go. We're getting somewhere. Can you hear me? Is my sound on? My whole entire computer crashed. I feel like they got mad at me for talking about PayPal. I was just attacked by the Matrix. Attacked by the Matrix. Is it better? Attacked by the Matrix. Trying to get the sound right. I apologize, folks. Is it better? One second. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, I'm not sure exactly what just happened. I'm pretty sure that Biden just tried to kill my computer. Alright. So as I was saying before the stream cut out and all hell broke loose, PayPal is supposedly about to start charging conservatives $2,500 for being conservative. But here's the catch. They took it back. They retracted their statement because they got scared because they're some little bitches. I found a video that to me encompasses the whole entire topic perfectly. It even touches on some of the top figures that have commented on it, such as Elon, because obviously this was originally Elon's company. Last time when I made this video large, my whole computer crashed. See what happens. Come on. Alright. That's a step in the right direction. Let's hit play.
PayPal is a far cry from what it set out to be in the days of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, a company whose product enabled greater financial freedom and empowered the average Joe. Now, after becoming a monopoly in the field of online payments, it has become a tool of oppression that actively denies people the ability to participate in commerce.
It's true. I mean, even going back to the whole trucker convoy, anytime there's a political opinion they don't agree with, they just remove it. It's kind of crazy. But yet, if you were a convicted rapist and you got out of prison, they would let you use the platform. They would let you. It would be no issue. But God forbid you're conservative.
PayPal's dictatorial tendencies have become increasingly apparent in recent years, when they started to withhold money from people until they jumped through a bunch of hoops, or when they banned people for holding certain political beliefs.
Exactly.
Even I've been targeted by PayPal when, earlier this year, they told me my account was frozen for using it in a questionable manner.
What does that mean?
Well, luckily I had no money in there, and thus I didn't bother to try and get the account back. Despite all this going on, most PayPal users have just continued using it as they were unaffected and unaware.
Right.
This has further emboldened PayPal to the point where they may have bitten off more than they can chew. As first reported by the Daily Wire, PayPal quietly pushed through an update to their acceptable use policy, which revealed their intent to steal $2,500 from customers each time they promoted misinformation.
Misinformation, which is ever changing. Literally 2 weeks from now, what they call misinformation today is not going to be the same. But yet they can arbitrarily just delete your whole entire existence but yet they will allow rapists to use their platform.
And incited hatred, among other new offences. This is completely arbitrary and ripe for abuse by PayPal against anybody who says something with which they disagree. Defenders of these communist tactics will always resort to "my private company," but that's in no way an excuse for PayPal to legitimize the theft of its own customers' hard-earned money.
Especially because PayPal is actually connected to your bank account. So they can just pull the funds from your bank account if you have a PayPal and you give out what they call misinformation.
Word has quickly spread about PayPal's new policy, and it has certainly sparked outrage across the internet. A quick search for PayPal on Twitter will reveal scores of users detailing horror stories of PayPal stealing their money.
17
Others
grand.
attempted to transfer money out of and close their accounts, to which PayPal responded by saying their transaction is pending review, and thereby preventing customers from leaving in a mass exodus.
Which is what
Disgust
everybody
with
will
the company's actions has even been expressed by former PayPal president David Marcus, who stated, "It's hard for me to openly criticize a company I used to love and gave so much to. But PayPal's new AUP goes against everything I believe in. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity." Elon Musk himself then responded to Marcus, saying that he too agreed. Just 2 hours later, in a stunning reversal, a PayPal spokesperson came out and said that an UAP notice recently went out in error that included incorrect information.
How does a company as big as PayPal accidentally put out an invalid notice? Like it's not going through dozens of people. Like this wasn't carefully orchestrated just to test the public's reaction. And a lot of stuff that's leaked out by this company before has later came out to happen. So this doesn't mean that we're not going to be fined $2,500 for telling people that men and women are not interchangeable and that a man is not a woman. Like if that is going to get me fined $2,500, I'm going to be in deep shit.
PayPal is not fining people for misinformation, and this language was never intended to be inserted in our policy.
Okay.
We're sorry for the confusion this has caused.
Likely story.
Stop kidding yourself. Your terms of service is not a document that is just accidentally published, particularly in an organization of your size. It would have gone through many stages of review by both your executives and legal counsel. Clearly, what has happened here is that, in your arrogance, you thought that you could just fly under the radar or that your customers simply wouldn't care. After all, why would they when they've already endured similar mistreatment until this point? Well,
enjoyed it.
PayPal, you took a step too far, and after witnessing the revolt against you, even by past company executives, you've backed down and pretended as if this never happened. This move by you was a PR disaster, and now you're in damage control to try and keep your customers.
Yeah, to say the least.
After all this, if you're still using PayPal, then what the hell are you thinking? You are enabling this kind of behavior, which other large companies have been engaging in as well, under the same pretenses.
It's true. People are so quick to try to boycott a company because of whatever they disagree with, but when they're egregiously attacking the First Amendment under the guise of a private company, but yet being half the time we're finding out from all these big media companies that they're actually being advised, to say the least, by the federal government about what information to look out for and what is and is not acceptable. If the government is making this decision and they're just using them as their puppet, that is not protected by the First Amendment, that is not protected by being a private company.
Enough is enough, and it's time that people took their money elsewhere. Thankfully, there are alternatives that truly put the power back into the hands of you and I, the people, as PayPal originally set out to do, might I add. I'm talking about cryptocurrency, which can no longer be perceived as just a fad or something that only cyber criminals use. Crypto is here to stay, and it's going mainstream. PayPal and the banking cartels shudder at the thought of this because ultimately it'll put them out of business.
Exactly.
My recommendation to anybody still using PayPal is to leave. Leave immediately and start accepting major cryptos for donations or payments, such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, or Monero.
I love the idea of Bitcoin. Right now, the market is definitely not stable. So don't just go and put your life savings into it right now just because the market is down. But if you have secure funds and you really believe that you're going to be encompassed into this digital world, really consider it. In my opinion, Ethereum is safe-ish because there's so many different mechanisms that use it, even just in gaming and there's a whole bunch. So if you're going to try to look for one that you can regularly use, consider.
And take back control of your money. If price volatility is something that concerns you, well, there are services like BitPay or Coinbase Commerce which automatically convert received coins into your local fiat currency. You can even directly accept stable coins which are equivalent in value to US dollars. There is really no excuse why you can't start doing this today.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's honestly crazy. Let me know, do you think that they accidentally released that? Because to me, that seems like some carefully orchestrated public probing.
Riverside, guys.
What is happening? Oh. Alright, let me flip over to the proper channel because for whatever reason it's not.
From the Daily Mail.
Alright, I'm not trying to have that play yet. Alright, in other news, Howard Stern finally leaves home for the first time in 2 years. The dude that's been openly critical of many that have decided to go out without a mask. Openly critical of Ron DeSantis for trying to keep his state and his economy from collapsing. The man that used to have women orgasm on the radio finally left the house. Because, you know, when the Matrix rapes you, it rapes you good.
From the Daily Mail. Germaphobe Howard Stern leaves his apocalypse bunker for the first time in 2 years for A-list dinner with Jennifer Aniston, Jimmy Kimmel, and John Hamm.
See, that's nuts. He's like, I'll do it for Jennifer Aniston. Definitely worth it. Who won it? I don't care how much of a germaphobe you are inside of a bubble. If Jennifer Aniston's like, let's have dinner. You're like, all right.
And admits he's been afraid of catching COVID.
How many times has he had COVID?
That's just it. That's just a wow moment.
So how many times has he had COVID? That's a great question. I'm going to assume none because he's kind of he seems like a little bitch.
Yeah. His immune system has just got to be shot.
This dude literally hasn't been exposed to fucking leaves, it sounds like. Maybe the leaves in his yard, but not anything that is outside of his property, that is outside of his vicinity, his bubble. Her face says it all. Here, let me make this larger. I apologize. But her face says it all. That is it. That is it right there.
Seen a germ in 2 years.
Yeah, he's gonna get real sick now.
He's gonna get really, really sick.
It's not gonna be COVID either.
Yeah.
It's gonna be whatever's
it's
out
gonna
there.
be exactly. He's completely.
He's gonna get everything.
Yeah.
Monkeypox.
It's gonna be like when Mr. Burns. You remember that Simpsons and the germs through the door.
He probably bought a whole jug of like antiseptic alcohol sanitizer, which again
that kills your immune system too.
Kills your immune system and kills the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria, and you need a combination of good bacteria to have a healthy gut.
It's really wild how many people think that they're doing themselves a service by ridding their body of all germs. This is something that is being built and beaten into your heads by the corporate America that profits off of you being sick constantly. It doesn't make sense. All traditional science would be like, yeah, I mean, a little dirt don't hurt. Modern science, run!
The radio host admitted on Monday the outing was emotionally exhausting, and it was the first time in 2 years I ventured out of the house. Who still listens to this guy? You are listening to someone who is not well. Dude needs deep therapy. He's saying it was emotionally exhausting for the first time in 2 years. Bro isolated himself for 2 years. Do not take advice from this man. I don't know who is still following this guy's politics. This guy is out of his mind.
Yeah, and
out of his mind, to say the least. Now, here's the thing. Howard was always out of his mind. That was kind of his niche. That was kind of the idea. He was the dude that you could go to and hear the shit that you couldn't hear anywhere else. And he did it on satellite radio because he couldn't say that shit on regular radio. That was the whole point. But now he wants to be the first one to silence people for saying things that he no longer agrees with just because he's fucking old now. It really doesn't make sense to me how you can go from the beacon of free speech to the dude that is literally on the same levels as Hitler as far as suppression goes. That might be controversial, but what you don't realize is it's true.
But he is in a $20 million home, so it couldn't have been too bad.
That's true too.
But I mean, did he have maids?
It's still house arrest.
I know.
I'm sure he's got a pinball machine, a hot tub. He's got an infinity pool and all that great stuff.
Dude, he probably has a mansion so big that he could spend a month in one corner of it, like the east wing of it. And then, I'm just going to go to the west wing and it feels like a whole new house. He's living a whole new life. It's a whole new vibe. He probably wasn't even tripping about it.
That's not the point. The point is the dude is agoraphobic. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not the kind of person that you should be listening to consistently.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody listen to this guy consistently?
Does he do a show out of his house now? That doesn't make sense. Or is he just not doing anything? Because I swore he's been still speaking. Maybe people are coming to him.
Yeah, he's got like tens of millions of listeners on Sirius or whatever he's still on.
He imprisoned himself in his own mind, which is absolutely terrifying because he was a perfect byproduct of what the corporate media wanted the average citizen to be. And as we were talking, you need good bacteria and bad bacteria.
Exactly.
But when you lack good bacteria in your gut, this is correlated with a lot of people having very negative mental health. So I think there's a correlation with him being overly protective, using too much hand sanitizers, using too much stuff, not going outside, not being in nature, not feeling the dirt, not getting any sun, not getting any vitamin D. That correlated with his mental decline that has led to a situation where he literally imprisons himself and doesn't go outside for 2 years.
Check us out. He said, quote, I said to my wife, I don't want to go. I'm in a panic. I don't want to get COVID.
Excuse me.
Anxiety,
he didn't even want to leave now.
COVID has basically been done for a long time. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. Don't just take the video down. But what I'm saying is the threat from the initial strain has not been that way for fucking ever now. Yeah, when COVID first hit, when nobody had any exposure to it previously, it fucking ransacked the world. But guess what? That's what happens anytime a new virus is introduced into the ecos. Yeah, it was good that we probably protected people for a little bit. I'm not aware of hardly anybody that was against the initial holdback of it. But once it became evident that it was not what people thought, that things were not as they appeared, that science was being updated, there was tons of scientists in Israel and India that were coming out with all of these findings about how the strains were not as serious following, how the reactions, how it really did become a lot more comparable to the flu. But people want to still act like it's the most deadly virus, like it's still the first strain.
Yeah.
It's agoraphobia. It's not germophobia. It's agoraphobia.
Maybe it was a Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe if Trump would have said, yeah, you guys should all stay in your house, he would have freaked out and he would.
Trump did say that. I mean, the lockdown started under Trump. Honestly, Trump was the one that pushed the vaccine. So if you are for vaccines, then you probably should be thanking Trump.
Partying every night.
That's a good point.
Man, that's crazy. Stern, however, was reportedly maskless at the dinner party, according to a diner who had snapped the photo. Howard was there without even a mask on. They also had a large table. Stern told the restaurant staff it was his first night out since the start of the pandemic. Wow. Yo, that's
so
like
wait,
almost
was he really
3
that scared?
years. That's almost 3 years.
Was he really that scared if he's not wearing a mask and it's his first time out? Or was he?
Well, he
really
probably
just doing this for
realizes, like, hey, this doesn't work either. this is pointless. After looking at the data after being so long, but
he's going somewhere to eat too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we know the rules of restaurants, right? Like, you take the mask off, and when you're sitting down.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you're wearing it while you're walking, then everybody's protected. Obviously. I mean, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Of course you need to wear it while you walk. But once you sit down, why would you wear it?
and you
You
don't
know
get
what would
COVID.
be you know what would be really ironic
Who knows?
is that if he gets COVID now, and then he's like, oh, I got it, I went out.
I
It's
got to
like,
go back in for 2 more years.
I mean, he's got to be shots, boosters. He's got to have it all.
Yes,
You know,
which again, a lot of data is coming out highlighting some interesting
Bears-
findings
Bears data.
that,
It's all
that
very
highlight
interesting.
that he probably will be getting sick, especially if he.
Well, just
You know,
he's going to get something.
Yeah, Luke is trying to be careful. I'm trying to be careful. This is a touchy subject, but the idea that the dude that used to call himself the king of media is going to be hiding in his fucking house for damn near 3 years for a virus that has, I mean, let's at least say comparable numbers to the common flu, especially at this point. If you want to debate the initial strain, whatever. But at this point, it's insane.
You
absolutely.
can't lock yourself up for 2 years.
Whether it's
in
the
a panic.
flu,
Yep.
whether it's the cold, whatever it is, it's going to hit him and it's going to hit him hard.
That's why periodically I go outside and eat steak right off the ground.
Yeah.
Just to make
Yeah,
sure
just
my
in case.
immune system is strong and ready
That's
to go.
right.
That's one way of doing it.
Yep.
Just make sure no animal poops
That's
in there.
hilarious.
But yeah, grounding, being in the sun, being in nature, just being exposed to.
Yeah, I try to go outside often just to put my feet into the grass and shit. Winter is coming and not going to be able to do that for much longer, but it is so important.
to other germs and bacteria gives you a good immune system. This is why a lot of
Eating
people.
dirt.
Yep.
Some
Wow.
people,
Kids eat dirt.
some people actually have
True.
supplements, and the supplements are from dirt.
Hold on there a minute.
There's actually medications from dirt that are also
Yes.
very controversial that we
And
can't
hold on,
talk
hold
about
on,
many times.
Hold on. No, you're supposed to eat dirt. But let me clarify. We used to get a lot of nutrients because we would pull the vegetables out of the ground or
was
off
just about
branches,
to
and
say
they
that.
have like not like thick dirt. You're eating dirt, but there's like dust and dirt still on the plant,
Right.
and you'd eat it. We started cleaning all that stuff off, and I was reading about how that lowered the amount of B vitamins we were getting.
Not just that, but because of
Interesting.
monocropping, because of simply
could
just
see it.
growing corn and soy and allowing Monsanto to control the entire agriculture industry along with other big corporate giants, we have destroyed nutrition from our vegetables and fruits. A lot of the fruits, a lot of the vegetables don't contain the same amount of macronutrients as they previously did before decades ago, and therefore our food is slowly and surely being wilted away to absolutely be mush that is meaningless without any kind of sustenance for you as a human being.
So do we have to
Yeah.
buy 10 tomatoes and eat them instead of 5?
Look, not only do you need to eat more of something to get the same amount of vitamins, but it's still argued that the vitamin quality isn't what it used to be. At this point, we really do got to be looking at supplements and things like that, but genuinely, you got to be careful about those. Don't just take anything, make sure you do some research.
Well, yeah.
Do I eat double the salad now, or what do I do?
Well, you've got to be careful with the glyphosate inside of there.
I went to Stonewall Jackson's Shenandoah compound because it's in Winchester, I think. It was like he used it for a few months while he was planning the defense of the Shenandoah during the Civil War, and in the kitchen they had a musket from like 1820 up on the wall, and they said what they would do is when they're making dinner, they would have the door open, and if they saw a critter outside, they'd grab the musket and just shoot it, and then take it and throw it in the stew, like fresh, just like that. It's kind of a crazy thought.
I mean, honestly, it seems like a good way. When all this shit hits the fan and Russia starts to nuke everything, keep that in mind.
Eating squirrel, groundhog, rabbit, or badger, or whatever they happen to see. But also the crazy thought of something so fresh. Taken right from the yard. Bang. There you go. Here's dinner.
Right from the yard.
The other crazy thing was they had they call it winter pantry right above the kitchen. They just took meat and hung it up. They didn't refrigerate it or anything. You know, so I was at a steakhouse and they had the dry aging steaks just sitting out, and it was like it's like sits out for a month. It's kind of a crazy thought. People would just throw the meat in a room and hang it and be like, there you go.
Put some salt on it and kind of
Put some
store
salt
that
on
way.
it.
I don't think they even did that. Yeah, I think when they were transporting it and stuff, they would smoke it and then just leave it up there, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, my family still does that in Poland. Every time I go to Poland, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just smoking the meat."
Just
There's
hang
going
it
to be
up.
a bunch of jokes there.
So I guess he had people just delivering Uber Eats and stuff to his house, or
Ooh, that's a good question. I bet you he wasn't having nobody come to his house. He was probably screening it. He probably had employees like security guards that were sitting out front that were waiting for him to show up, like the Uber delivery driver, and like meeting him. He's like, "Oh, make sure you stay 10 feet away from the fence. Set it down." Probably left it there for 48 hours. I'm just joking.
Family or
I don't know if you had Uber Eats coming in or
yeah,
No.
I guess they
Get
just
sick.
drop it on the doorstep or something.
he has like, what are those rooms called where it's like one door opens and then you put the food in and then it closes and it,
Decontamination room.
yeah, like it
Yeah.
sprays it.
Yeah.
Then he opens it
Exactly.
up and takes it out.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what he
Except
has.
the food, like,
Get Lysol, just
I
sprays
really
it
eat
everywhere.
He's wealthy enough.
He's eating with Lysol.
He probably want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he got like special order farm food that was harvested by like his select people.
Ugh.
Because the thing about fast food is like you don't know what they're doing when they prepare it. I remember that viral video where a dude was at Taco
true.
Bell. I think it was Taco Bell, and he stood in the lettuce or something like that. Do you guys remember that?
Look, I was a manager at Taco Bell, but I've worked at many fast food restaurants, and I can tell you for a fact that people don't give a fuck when they're not being paid a lot. But also, when people don't deserve to be paid a lot, it is what it is. But yeah, you gotta be careful about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Burger King or something.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like standing in it. There's a bunch of videos where people do that, where they're like screwing with the food and then they were posting it online. You never know, man. For all we know, Howard Stern orders, what's that grocery delivery service you can order? I don't know, whatever.
Instacart.
Is that what it is?
Something
like that.
He
Yeah,
orders
there's a
ice
bunch.
cream and he gets the one ice cream that girl licked and put back. So you think you're safe, Howard Stern, but
Oh
there's
my
like
God.
there's the germs in your food when you order it.
I mean, did he keep his maids? I mean, I assume he's got a $20 million mansion. He had maids.
Yeah, you got
He probably kept his maids, but made them regularly screen for COVID. He probably had mouth swabs on deck. He was giving them nose swabs. He was constantly making sure that they were clean, sober, and ready for work.
must stay house
Did he
arrest,
like?
too.
Yeah, he probably was like, "We're all under house arrest now."
You would have worked for me. You got to stay here. No
You'll
leaving.
never leave.
Yo, what happened to people? Like, this dude used to be an edgelord, and now he's just like a terrified panic attack agoraphobe.
I mean, really, just think about it though. If everybody did what he did, I mean,
There'd be no
society just
pandemic.
wouldn't function anymore. You want to have people producing anything. You want to have food. I mean, I guess unless he started
Yeah, truly.
not worried
doing his
about
own
What a
thing in his
privileged
yard,
place.
but
We got a bunch of critters and deer all over the place, and I'm not going to pretend like we would be able to survive off the land or anything like that. But I'm confident that after some hardship, if everything were to collapse, we'd be all right out here. We'd figure it out, and we would find a way. People in cities and people like him, they would just melt. They would
Yeah.
be sitting. He would just
I mean,
like
what
slowly
else can we
become
do?
one with his chair and just like get stuck to it and be like, "Argh," and then within a couple weeks he'd be gone.
He also became very angry. He criticized very heavily Joe Rogan, Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. He even Howard Stern specifically said that if you're unvaccinated, you should be denied treatment out of hospitals.
Right, yeah, he was truly angry. That's a really good point. He literally didn't want anybody unvaccinated to be treated. It's the same idea as, oh, well, you got diabetes, but you eat a lot of ice cream, so we're not going to treat you. You did this to yourself. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hospitals should be, quote, closed to individuals who are not vaccinated. So this is a man who wants to see other people suffer, who wants to see other people die, as of course he's taken for granted his lifestyle that of course the average poor person can't afford. An average person can't hide in a $20 million mansion and not
Right.
be able to work or do hard labor or blue collar work. So for him to go out and say this on the heels of his paranoia is just mind-boggling.
I remember you had people advocating on the news, on CNN, doctors advocating for not allowing you to fly state to state. 'Cause that's a
Yep.
federal issue now, unless you're vaccinated. I was like, oh, shit.
But
I'm
we're
not gonna
all
be
in
able to
this
fly
together.
anywhere, yeah.
We're all in this together.
But if you have a private jet, not a big deal. You can still go wherever you want.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast.
Yeah, that's wild. 3 years. This man didn't leave his house for 3 years. All right. Well, it's kind of a slow news day. We could probably talk about Biden going down to Florida and his little conversation with Ron DeSantis and all that. But to me, it really wasn't that interesting. So let's go into some entertainment news. So we got some game announcements, some updates. It looks like they're able to jailbreak the PS5. It's pretty crazy.
Hello, folks. Today is Friday, October 7th, 2022. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. And we got a stacked show for you, a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's just jump in with the first thing. I don't know if you saw this headline, but the PS5 has officially been jailbroken. Yes, technically it is with an older software version of the console, but still, people have been able to open this thing up a little bit. The results so far don't mean much. It's kind of more of just an implication of the future, really. So this was originally tweeted out by Lance McDonald, who is Man Fight Dragon. That's his username. He's been shouted out on this channel a
Man
bunch.
Fight Dragon.
He originally posted it, and people have been able to get into this. Add
That's a
files
wild
to the
idea.
console. People have been adding PT. Results really aren't really working out yet, but again, like I said, like this is probably a step towards the future. I'm also not super technically equipped to talk about this stuff, so I do definitely want to shout out the dude, MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer. He did a pretty good video on it, kind of explaining it. If you like the technical analysis, that will be linked in the description down below.
Let me know in the chat if you want us to watch that after this. It's pretty interesting, though, because I remember in the 360 era, there was some crazy shit that people could do when they finally jailbroke those. I really didn't do any jailbroken machines during the Xbox One, PS4 eras. It's kind of strange. I didn't even think about it. It never crossed my mind, but I'm definitely interested in this. It's kind of nostalgic.
I just want to jailbreak my PS5 to make the controller battery life last longer and for the controllers to update wirelessly.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Right.
for
I
real.
haven't updated my PS5 controller since I bought it.
It's going to make you bad at games. Don't do that.
I want to jailbreak the PS5.
It's gonna make you bad at games.
Yes. Now we're talking. And in other news, CD Projekt Red announced a bunch of stuff. They essentially laid out their roadmap for the next, I don't know, like 10 years of everything that they're working
Cyberpunk
on.
2.
And here you see on screen, it is a lot of stuff to break down. First, worth pointing out, they did say that the Witcher 3 newer console gen version is still coming this year, which is cool. But they also confirmed a full-on sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. Right now, it is codenamed Orion, and they're essentially...
It's kind of crazy that just based on the strength of the anime that they're like, we're gonna greenlight the sequel. This was one of the worst fucking games in fucking gaming history, and that says a lot, by the way. That says a fucking lot. No, yeah, expectations were astronomical, so we definitely thought that it was gonna be fucking Fallout meets Grand Theft Auto, but we got worse than Grand Theft Auto and worse than Fallout in every aspect.
establishing a new studio group to work on this. They're going to be putting like something like 350 to 500 developers on this game. Then there are, of course, a bunch of Witcher games in development. One codenamed Sirius, which is a single and multiplayer game by the Molasses
Interesting.
Flood, the smaller indie studio that they bought up like last year. Then there's Project codenamed Polaris, which is like the next Witcher game, the one that was announced. This is like CD Projekt Red's next main bread and butter thing. But then there's also another one called Canis Majoris, which is going to be another apparently full-fledged Witcher game, but like by a different studio. So really, there's just a lot of shit here, and this is probably them for the next 10 years. And
The only problem I have with those games is they require so much time and so much commitment in order to play them. Because, I mean, you really got to put yourself into the world. And as an adult, I don't have the same time as I did when I played Skyrim and Fallout for the first time. But man, does the idea of it sound amazing.
look at this of one of two ways, right? A lot of people still have a lot of skepticism with CD Projekt Red. So it's essentially, is it them just laying out their cards and everything that they're working on for the next 10 years so that there aren't leaks and there's no like weird guessing games? It's just we just know what's coming and
I
they're
like
being
the guessing
transparent.
game, though.
Or on the other hand, is it them just once again saying a bunch of stuff, promising a bunch of stuff, and are they going to deliver? I personally just don't like stuff like this, like laying things out that far ahead, simply because I don't like thinking about 10 years from now. That freaks me out. I just started
Yeah, I'll
freaking out
be-
thinking about that. Anyway, where
I'll
do
be
you fall with this?
37.
Do you hear this? Is this just
That
fluff? Is this
hurts.
just air, vapor to you, or are you genuinely interested in all of these projects? I can't really be interested yet until I see or hear more,
I'm
but that's
interested,
just me.
but-
So Let me know in the comments what you think. Oh, and a
Afraid I
small
won't be
update
able
in
to play
case you
them.
missed it. Hideo Kojima has been teasing something for a while, and I think it's been a minute since
Yeah.
we've talked about him and all his crazy shenanigans. But it seems like we know that he has his star, or one of his stars, for his next video game. It's officially Elle Fanning. So this was kind of teased and uncovered thanks to like a QR code, but now it's legit. There's an image and everything, a Hideo Kojima game, and that's it. The actress Elle Fanning, I'm not super familiar with other than Neon Demon, but she's been in a bunch of other things, so there's that. Hey, now next up, have you ever wanted to be a lord or a lady? Well, now you literally can with our sponsor for today's video, Established Titles. It's a fun way to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland and also gas up you, your friends, or your loved ones. Now, believe
Who thinks that this game is probably a cash grab? And I don't mean by him. Obviously, he's trying to get his fucking money. But I mean on the likes of Diablo Immortal. Let me know.
it or not, this is actually based on an old historic Scottish custom where landowners are essentially called lairds, or lords or ladies in English. So if you purchase a title pack, it gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a Scottish estate. And it comes with an official certificate, like with a crest and like a plot number and everything, so you can see where your land is. And this makes you lord or lady. No joke, you can literally change
this is
your
in the
name
game?
to lord
This
or
is
lady
literal?
if you're a professional clown like me. No joke, you could officially change your name on like your credit card or plane tickets and even get it on
Ooh,
your
I'm gonna
dating
do it.
profiles. And when you get this, it's pretty nice right here. Like, let's get a close-up. So you can put whatever funny thing you want. So I am Lord Jake, taker of grains of salt, he of great pizza offerings. Yeah, they actually let me put that. Now, what's cool about this is that Established Titles plants a tree with every order. And they work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to
All right, my whole thing about that is it seems like they're holding it hostage. They're like, if you don't, I'm not planting it. I'm not doing it. We have a whole bunch of seeds. They're sitting here. They're just sitting out back, but we are not going to do it unless you do your part. Like, damn. I'm just going to put the world on hostage?
support global reforestation efforts. So it's a win-win, really. And the first 200 people to get a title pack with our link that you click, you'll essentially be next to my plot of land, so we can have our own little dumb kingdom together. I like this the most because it makes for an excellent gift, especially for those tricky people. Like I'm getting one for my dad. The perfect thing to just boost his ego even more. I'm sure this will go great. But really,
Right.
Established Titles is actually running a huge sale right now. Plus, if you use our link, click it in the description down below, you get 10% off. So head to establishedtitles.com/GameRanks to check it out, maybe get a gift, and do something goofy and good today. And thanks again to Established Titles for sponsoring this video. And just keeping with brief news, it's worth pointing out that Valve just put out another video detailing more cool updates to the Steam Deck. But the biggest thing is that the dock is now available to purchase. So
Look, I'm cool with all of that. Do your thing, you know what I mean? Get your money, Valve. But there are some games. There are some games that I need you to keep making. And if you don't do it, me and a whole bunch of others are going to throw a fit. I mean, that's the only way to put it. Where's a new Portal game? Where's more Half-Life? And I'm not talking about on VR, because who the fuck actually has VR? Why aren't you guys creating the games that are going to change the world? Yeah, I get it. You got your shit. Do your thing. But you're big enough as a company that you could definitely be putting some money into game development. And you've proved that. I mean, everything I've saw about Half-Life on VR is stupendous and amazing. And it's exactly what we're looking for. But we need more. We need more. Prove to these other developers that they can do, that their standards are subpar at best. Because you could do that. That's what you guys did. That was your whole niche. Yeah, you created the fucking Netflix of gaming. I get it. But that doesn't mean you gotta give up on what made you you.
a little pricey, but also they've been upfront from the beginning, and we've been using like just little third-party docks that we bought at Best Buy, so it doesn't really matter too much. But along with that, Steam Deck is now pretty much just available to purchase. That's it. There's no like pre-order reservation process or anything like that. So they are becoming a little bit more available if you have been interested. Just a PSA. And in other news, Gotham Knights got a round of previews. A bunch of YouTubers and press people got to go hands-on with the game.
I was so excited about Gotham Knights. I really thought that it could be up to par with the Spider-Man games and the Arkham series games, but I'm so concerned based on everything I saw. And it's not just because it's too video gamey. I'm a huge DC nerd. It's my whole fucking bread and butter. I will rewatch the Batman animated series anytime, constantly. I love all the lore. I mean, we could debate about what's the best Robin, but this game has me concerned.
And I did as well. So small preview section here. If you are curious about the game, which I have had so many questions about it from the beginning, my impression so far with about 2.5 hours of the game seems like it's pretty much what it looks like. It plays like what it looks like. It's not an Arkham game. The combat doesn't feel quite right. I need to upgrade my abilities more in the game before I can totally judge that. Almost everything is there. The co-op seems like it could be cool. The animations are pretty cool. The skill tree is actually pretty impressive.
The fighting style reminds me of Shadow of Mordor. The reason I say that is if you were to just spam the dodge button, if you were like hit button, dodge button, and go back and forth between that and you just button mashed it, it didn't matter what happened, you were not going to lose. And I feel like that's where this is heading. Maybe I'm just spoiled by Dark Souls and the recent open world legend Elden Ring, but I don't know if it's going to do it for me, folks.
I do like it, but the combat to me just felt a little bit more based on MMORPG style cooldown abilities. They weren't that thrilling. And along with that, I haven't been able to see enough of Gotham City like open world activities because to me it seemed a little empty and a little awkward. Visually, though, I like this different style. Of course, this is like a different Batman universe, so I like seeing these new characters interpreted in this way, the city in this way. And
yeah,
ultimately,
that Nightwing
as
stuff
much as
looks
I'm not
dope.
sold on the gameplay, I am into it for the story thing. The little bits of story setup I did get, I was pretty...
But here's the thing, you can get that on YouTube. And I'm not just like trying to cheat out the developers, but if all you want is the story, go on YouTube, watch some people play it. If I want to enjoy the game, then the gameplay needs to be up to par, especially in 2022. Too many games, too many free games. Nah, I can't handle a suboptimal Batman game.
Interested in. I also am a big Batman fan, so like there is some bias there. Like I am just curious for that, but what I got to see does seem pretty good. And the way the game is structured around kind of a day-night thing where night is when you go outside and you beat up criminals and get clues, and then you come back inside and level up during the day and put
Which
clues
is
together and
interesting.
go on your next mission. That seems like a clever twist to the whole Batman formula. If you were excited for this game, I don't think I can like pour water over that excitement, but I do think like if you were feeling a little bit more cynical towards this game and just kind of how some of the things are implemented, like the loot, the damage numbers, and just kind of how it feels very video gamey for the sake of it, if you get what I'm saying. Like it's not a live service game, but it kind of gives off a little bit of that vibe sometimes. If you're still kind of on it, I didn't see anything that really won me over. So really, I guess if you can't tell, I'm in the middle. I'm pretty 50-50 on it. This is why I don't usually do previews. I still have a lot more questions, but at the very least, if you want to know more, I did do a full video about it that I'll link in the description down below. But also, we're going to be doing a before you buy on the game probably pretty soon. It's only a couple weeks away, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Another positive, I had a boss battle with Harley Quinn, and I just thought the whole thing, like the visuals, the music, the boss battle itself just felt like classic video game boss
That's
battle.
cool.
And I really enjoyed that, so I want to see more of that. Next up, of course,
I'm
we got
packing
to
a bowl.
acknowledge
I
it. We got a
apologize.
teaser trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Illumination Nintendo.
I watched some of that in my last live stream. Once I get a little bit better at the whole flow of this and the technology, I will start clipping these, but you can go back to the last one if you want to watch that. I am very excited about this, but I do not like Mario's voice. That shit is fucked. Thank you. If you don't know, she just brought me my cigs.
collaboration. Probably the biggest animated movie event in a very long time with
Time out, because I know some people are going to trip about me smoking a cigarette. A lot of what you think about cigarettes is not true. It's some mainstream bullshit. It's pretty much like drinking a cup of coffee. I will go into this in more detail. This is not the time we're talking about Mario, but don't judge.
just how much is at stake and how much money and just Nintendo and everything. Like, it's pretty crazy. And this trailer is something. People are pretty divided on the voice of Mario, of course, but
Yeah.
Bowser looks cool. Toad looks cool. The
I
visuals
agree.
are pretty incredible. I am definitely not hating what I see here. We only got to hear a very brief snippet of Chris Pratt's voice, so I'm not into it. But again, it's a little too early to judge because we barely heard anything. Everybody's going to have a different opinion about all of this because everybody comes to Mario in a different way. Some people just casually love the hell out of the character. Some people are obsessed. Some people are weebs about it. Some people just grew up with him and have a lot of nostalgia. Like, everybody's coming at it slightly differently. Mario is for everybody, so it's going to be divisive regardless, but you know, it is technically going to probably be geared towards children a little bit, and if they're happy, I guess that's good. My opinion doesn't matter because
Look, just because it's geared towards children doesn't mean adults won't enjoy it. Don't let that fool you. Don't let that deter you from going to see it. This is probably going to be one of the very few movies I actually go and see in theaters, or at least a drive-in or some sort of theater.
I mean, maybe it's Stockholm Syndrome because it's what we had as 90s kids, but I liked the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo movie from
Look, that movie is good as far as being weird and wild, but it is not a good Mario movie. But if you just want to watch a weird, wild movie, go and watch that fucking movie because it is weird and wild and it will not disappoint.
90s. I don't know what that says about me. You're probably freaking out right now, but get over it.
That movie's tight.
It's kind of cool. Like, it's like weird sci-fi.
Rocket boots, like the jump.
The rocket jump boots were cool. They got from the big lady. Yeah, that was cool. Man, they did a lot of cocaine in the 90s. But
Yeah, they
cool.
did.
Yeah, so this is the trailer. So let me know what you guys think. Also, we finally got a reveal trailer for the next Need for Speed game.
Look, this looks sweet. I like the animation style. I like the vibe of it. If they are able to capitalize on this, they could totally revamp the whole entire series. Not to say that it's been failing, but it hasn't been what it was back in like Carbon and Most Wanted and pretty much the glory days.
Been rumored for a long time, but now this game is officially coming to next-gen platforms and PC December 2nd, 2022, and it's a full-fledged Need for Speed game that is, like the rumors suggest, it's got a completely different art style to it, and I'm into it. This trailer is cool. It feels very fresh. I also love all the Need for Speed games, or well, most of them. I
Yeah.
play them all. I give them all a shot. I think it has needed a shot in the arm, a little juice up, you know, a refresh for a while, so I hope this is
A
good.
long while.
We didn't really get to see a lot of games.
To me, ever since Pro Street, that whole series has been going downhill because they've been trying to go too hard into realism where that wasn't their niche.
Gameplay from this trailer though, so I can really only say so much, but as someone who tries them all, I'm looking forward to diving into this one. That trailer is linked below. All this stuff is linked in the description down below. All this stuff here, like we got Wild Hearts gameplay, like a pretty lengthy chunk of gameplay, which I didn't expect we would get so early. It feels like we just talked about the game being announced last week, but now at least everything's up front. You get to see how this game actually plays, this kind of competitor to Monster Hunter.
It looks like the combat is lit. If they're able to capitalize on this, it really might give Monster Hunter a run for their money.
Also, we got an in-depth deep dive on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I actually forgot is coming soon, but I really liked Arceus, so I'm curious to see how they can shake up the formula.
I'm still not happy with the graphics of this game. Being the money that Pokemon makes, they definitely could step their game up. They've been rehashing the same game over and over, and I get it. From a business perspective, it's the smart move. Don't fix something that's not broken. But you could throw in a little variety and just see how it does.
Or here, they did lay out a lot of their cards, no pun intended here, so you can see a lot of the additions to the battle system, little tweaks to how the open world battling can work and stuff, and yeah. Also, while we're sticking with Nintendo, No Man's Sky just dropped on Switch,
Ooh, that's
which is
scary.
pretty cool. So if any of you are jumping into that this weekend, definitely let me know your experience. I really want to know how the hell that thing runs on Switch.
Right,
for
yeah.
real. So let us
Yeah,
know if
how
you are
does it
playing that,
run?
but of course,
That's
I
the
always say
question.
this, the top pinned comment of this video will be asking you what you're playing recently or this weekend. Definitely definitely drop what you're playing regardless, because it's good for our research for making videos. Also, Overwatch 2 dropped this week. The launch has been really rocky and
Yeah, I
messy,
avoided
and
it.
really, I don't know if it feels like it's necessarily an Overwatch 2 yet, but we did make a video on it, and let me know your experience so far with the game. Also, we got a new
Ooh, that's
trailer for the
curious.
Dead Space remake, which is coming soon, and you can.
I actually just downloaded the first one because I've never played the series before, and I heard that they were gonna remake it. I was like, I gotta experience this in the original fashion. I'm excited about this.
See it really in all its glory. This is like a cinematic gameplay trailer. Also, if this is your thing, we got a big new campaign trailer for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Looks pretty crazy, over the top cinematic. A lot of real world actors are featured in it. Also, Captain Price is still like way too handsome. It's kind of weird. If you're into playing that type of thing, you're not gonna have to wait too much longer, because end of October, it's Call of Duty time. So yeah. Also, we got two little bits about video game length. So the first is official from the horse's mouth. Glenn Schofield, one of the creators behind the Callisto Protocol that is dropping in December, he detailed that the game is going to be 12 to 14 hours of length, like depending, and there's going to be different paths to add for replay value. And honestly, it's kind of about what I expected. Some people are not going to be happy about that. Some people are going to be fine with that. Game length is a whole other debate. But on the other hand, we have a kind of a leak from Insider Gaming suggesting that God of War Ragnarok is going to be 40 hours, like roughly 20 hours for the main story quests, and then 40 hours for completing everything.
That is perfect. A lot of these games think that they need to be 120 hours plus. Grown folks don't have time for that. If you're going to be making a game that is geared towards adults, you cannot be making them exceptionally long. Who the fuck has time to play a game that is 120 hours at this point? I would love to. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, maybe over the course of years, and maybe that's what they want, but I don't think it is. 40 hours seems perfect. 20 hours of gameplay, 40 hours for everything, perfect.
Which I think sounds about right. That is, of course, from insider sources, like not like officially confirmed, so take that with a grain of salt, of course. But regardless of how long it is, I'm still definitely looking forward to playing that. Anyway, so that's what we got in gaming news this week. So I definitely want to hear from you in the comments what you're thinking about everything. I'm sure you got hot takes about Super Mario. Everybody does. So let me know. But also, let's talk about the other stuff. Let's talk about CD Projekt Red's massive roadmap. Ambitious, cool, transparent, full of hot air. You don't want to hear it. Let's talk. Let's talk about all the stuff going on, from the trailers, everything we dropped. Hit me up down there. We'll be down there talking to you guys as much as possible, but things get a little crazy, so if you want to yell at me directly, find me on social media, my other YouTube channel, Jake Baldino, or my podcast, Friends Per Second. But thank you guys for coming around, catching up on the news with us. We're here every single Friday, so if you like this, if you like what we're doing here, you just got to click the like button, because it legit helps us. So thank you. But
All right. And I will do that. Thank you for reminding me. All right, now let's go back to entertainment specific. Now this is a couple years old, but I figured with the recent Andrew Tate, Piers Morgan debacle, we should go back to 2020 and hear what Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz had to say about women shouldn't comment on the bodies of men. Now, what they say in this is controversial, especially after what Andrew Tate has came out and done to social media. But to me, this is important because it proves that he is not the radical that so many are trying to make him out to be.
It's so stupid, it's positively brilliant.
You know, they asked the question, should men comment on women's bodies, right?
And the answer is yes. But let's go into this.
And American society has kind of created that system where men are always talking about women's bodies and vice versa. Like, this is the home of beauty pageants. Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss America, Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, Ebony Jet Beauty of the Week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's always a thing where we're commenting on a woman's body, or even women are always commenting on men's bodies. D'Angelo did a whole video butt-ass naked with a six-pack. He didn't do that because he didn't want y'all to comment on his body. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I guess in a lot of cases, you got to take the good with the bad, right? So if somebody sees a body they love, like a J-Lo or a Trina, whoever it is, they commenting on it. If you see a Michael B. Jordan or D'Angelo back in the day, you comment on it.
It's true. If I get in super good shape, it's totally fine for you to comment on it. But if I get super fat and you say something, forget about it. But you know damn well that these women don't give a fuck. Don't talk about me, but I will talk about you.
But if you see something you don't like, and it goes both ways for men and women. It's not like guys don't get shamed for having the big ass stomachs and looking nasty and fucking shit. You know what I mean? That's why you see a lot of guys getting in shape. It's guys right now that clown the old Gucci man. I mean, it's girls that clown the old Gucci man because of how he used to look. But Gucci looked at himself and was like, that's not what I want to be. I want to get in shape. So I think that's just kind of the American way to judge people by their bodies.
I think it's a human way.
Yeah.
I think it's a human way. I think that we sexualize things that we want to have sex with. That's just natural. And I think maybe women do it in a little bit different way because they can sexualize certain parts of the body that maybe we don't care as much about.
Yeah.
But, you know, women are very picky when it comes to height. You know, like women will just straight up say on their dating profile, nobody under 5'6".
These are points that Tate had made and it got him banned. Now you might argue, oh no, these aren't the points that got him banned. It was because X, Y, and Z. But no, this as an accumulative is definitely what the whole entire left-wing media has demonized. And it's just kind of crazy that a couple years ago, people were talking like this. It's not new. It's not some brand new. I mean, a lot of this comes from Patrice O'Neal, but I mean, the idea that we are not allowed to comment on somebody's body, positive or negative, is absolutely nuts.
Michaela is 5'11", and we'll say that all day long. I don't date no short men.
And if we were like, yo, no girls with no titties.
Now you're being you're objectifying her. You're being chauvinistic.
Exactly. There's a double standard.
Yeah, it's
There's
definitely a double
But the
standard.
reality is we do have standards. Yeah. Right? And standards are actually okay because they're baked into our DNA for thousands of years of evolution. Like we like certain things. We like nice skin or supple breasts. All these things represent, I think, when a woman is ready to produce children. I think fertility, right? So all these things are...
I mean, that's exactly it. We are attracted to women that look like they can produce the best offspring for us. And there are many factors that are involved in that. But definitely the ability to bear children, so wide hips, the ability to nurse, so big tits, it's all appealing.
They're not like, hey, I'm a shallow guy.
Even that is a judgment of a woman's body.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you see a woman, you're like, oh, she's got what'd you say?
Supple.
I was about to say subtle. Quiet titties. She's got quiet titties. She's got supple breasts. So, but back in the day, you probably looked at her for fertility reasons, like, 100%. Oh, she's ready to mate or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's judging a woman's body.
She is ready. Yeah.
Fucking slave masters used to judge people's bodies.
I don't talk about that on Black History Month. Charlamagne, please. I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
I'm just saying, it's just weird,
dude,
man. Like
it is. This is interesting. I was in Hawaii, which is this fucking amazing place. Everybody should go to Hawaii. Outside of the natural beauty, the culture is super unique and interesting. And but they were talking about the sugar cane plantations out there, and there's these documents that you can read where they're looking at the type of people that they want to bring in to work the fields, and they're going through the different countries and seeing how they would work and wouldn't work with the fields. For example, they brought the Irish in. The Irish can't take the heat. They're too tall to bend down and do the whatever. Black people, they can take the heat, but they're too tall to go down and picking up the cane, so they don't work as well. And then Filipinos, perfect height, they're shorter leg. Yeah. They made it a science.
Judging people's bodies.
By judging people's bodies. It's literally like the NFL combine or like the NBA.
Yeah.
They had the exact same look at it. What is the most efficient group of people that we can bring in here?
And it's logical. I mean, that is the way that you would want to look at it. You definitely want people that are going to be able to take the heat, that are going to be able to easily reach. I mean, it's all common sense. But this right here would not be acceptable by the mainstream.
get that job done.
Let's be honest. The only reason we don't like when somebody judges somebody's body is when they're saying something negative.
100%.
Because if they're telling you how fly you look and how beautiful you are,
Exactly.
you got fat ass, man. You got nice breasts. Like I, in the morning, these young ladies, Taylor, Sim, they walk in. Oh, look at fat. Oh, you got a fat ass. I'm like, they do that. So it's. But you're still judging each other's bodies.
No, you know what? This is not fair because Sim and what's the other girl's name?
Michaela.
Sim and Michaela both like pussy.
No, not Sim.
Oh, so Michaela, my bad.
Label me a lesbian.
my bad, Sim. But Michaela likes pussy, so if Michaela's like, you got fat ass, she means it.
Yeah, she means it.
That's sexual
It's true.
harassment.
It's true.
That's sexual harassment. Because if you sexualize
true.
someone, that's sexual harassment. It's like
That's a good point.
And anything that you find sexual about someone else, don't you think that we should equate this? Anything you find sexual about someone else that you're sexually attracted can count as sexual harassment. For example, if a girl goes up to you, if a girl values financial success, and she goes up to you, she goes, "Okay, Charlotte, I see that watch you got on. That's a nice little Rolex." You are sexually harassed in that moment because she sexualizes your
That is a
financial
fact.
security.
That is a fact.
It turns a girl on, the guy that can buy a watch like that. Financial security.
It's a fact.
Hey, there's a point here, is there not? A little bit.
Bro, I love the Brilliant Idiot hot take. It's why we the Brilliant Idiots,
That's
baby.
why we're the brilliant idiots, all right? You know what I'm saying? Whipping dicks out. Where the buckets at? I'm trying to find them.
And if the bucket don't work,
It's
I'm
true.
gonna stick my fist in it with the rollie attached
There
to
we
it.
go.
'Cause that's what turns her on anyway.
Let's go. You tell me what time it is.
He said, "Tell me what time it is."
The judging of people's bodies has been going on before us, and it's gonna go on way after us.
Yes.
That's just the way it is. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not just saying it's a bad thing. It's just a thing.
It is a good thing. I will say that it is a good thing because we want to have the most optimal mate. And if you are not looking for the most optimal mate, then you are doing you and your offspring a disservice.
So to say, should a man comment on a woman's body? I don't know. I really don't have an answer. I just know that's the way things are because women do it to men, men do it to women, men do it to other men. I learned from women. You know how women be saying, "Oh, you got a fat ass to each other, big titty." That's why I objectify men.
So how you do it to men?
I do it all the time.
What do you say?
I killed M-Easy and Envy and
What'd you say to them?
Drama? Oh, all types of shit.
Like what?
I'd be like, I told Drama's got a beard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna brush your fucking beard. You know?
He said, "I want to brush your beard."
It just seems nice. It seems like a nice thing to do.
And Drama would just be like, "Yo, you weird, bro." It's the truth, though. I tell Envy, pull his fucking pants up.
Why? Because he's flirting?
I'm tired. Exactly.
Yeah.
Tired of
'Cause
seeing
he's
your little
flirting.
red boxer briefs that I've been watching for the past 9 years.
Yo.
Pull your goddamn pants up, Envy.
Envy really
Okay.
got no ass, huh? Do some
Yeah,
squats.
no cheeks.
You got
Do
no
some squats.
cheeks. Yo,
No cheeks,
Envy,
bro.
do some squats,
No
bro.
cheeks. Long
Long
beige
back.
back.
You know what I
Long
mean?
beige back.
How you gonna
He
bust it
said
wide
a
open
beige
when you got
back.
nothing to bust?
Nothing. And that's why he shows it off so much. He like to do push-ups. You know what I'm saying? With his pants
on,
sagging.
bro.
And he'll lift his shirt up a little bit so all his ass is out.
Come on,
You know what
bro.
I mean?
We're
and then
ass
wonder
men.
why a motherfucker saying shit.
That's it.
What are you wearing, Envy?
What are you
Why would
wearing?
What are you
wear that?
wearing,
Why you
Envy?
don't want me to say something?
Thank you.
It's true though. Everything that we put on, everything that we wear, everything that we do is to attract. And if it's not, then you're lying to yourself. You're like, "Oh, I just do this for me." Like, bullshit. Why do you do it for you? What makes you feel good about what you're doing? Once you really get to the root of it, it's all about judgment from other people.
Y'all missing the real point of it.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Because, like, for me, Sam, and Michaela to do that, we're all friends.
See, that's what's wrong with y'all. We ain't talking about y'all. We talking about dicks over here right
Yeah,
now.
yo,
See, why
mind
would you
your-
even jump into this conversation?
Real talk,
We over here having a
man.
nice gay moment, and here you come wanting to add some goddamn women to the mix.
This dick talk,
Keep
not
the
pussy
fish
talk.
dick talk.
Dick segment. Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Hell is
Stick
wrong
to
with
that
you?
shit. You know
Come
what I
on
mean?
now.
Fuck out of here.
But y'all are friends, too, though. You're not going to do it to a random guy on the street.
Oh, says who?
Says who?
I won't walk up to some random guy in the street.
Do you need
Tell him
me?
he got fat ass.
Are you saying you need me to push this culture forward? Are you telling me I need to take this to the streets, Taylor? Is that what you're telling me? If you want
sounds
to
like it.
objectify these guys
It
for
sounds
real,
like
for
it.
real,
Real talk.
you want them to feel the pain that you felt your whole entire life.
Let's go.
You want me to go out there with these Timbs and these jeans on and start catcalling motherfuckers? If I wasn't a married man, I'd take you up on this.
Black man don't cheat. Black man don't cheat. You know what I'm saying?
I read that in a book a long time ago, though, From Niggas to Gods, man.
What?
That was the name of the book, From Niggas to
Really?
Gods by Akil. And he said, he was talking about how guys objectify women and catcall women and comment on women. And he was like, what if fucking Mike Tyson was walking the streets doing that shit to dudes?
It's a fact.
Slapping them on the ass, catcalling. What would you do?
Hey, you got it, Mike.
Yeah, you got it, Mike.
Yeah, but not as crazy. They usually lock in with some eye contact.
That's all.
And
Little
then they try to
whistling.
see where you're at.
Yeah.
This is what gay guys do. They'd be like this. They'd be like. Then they wait for you to do something back to let them know it's okay.
Not the gay guys out there. They'd be like, Charla, I know you just ain't gonna walk by here with that little fat ass Charla and not come speak to me.
Wait, what gay guys do you know?
Yo, this is the kind of rhetoric that we need. This is why Andrew Tate and the Fresh and Fit podcast and the whole entire Red Pill movement is so important because even if it's worth debating, the conversation needs to be had.
Talk like that. I need to meet these gay guys. You even put his hand on his hip like a little teapot. Did you see that? Please
Like a
tell me we
teapot.
got that shit. I'm Charlotte. I'm Charlotte. I see you got rips in your jeans.
Yo, a gay teapot would be funny as hell. I'm
Is
a
there
little
a-
teapot, short and stout.
Where is your dick? Here is my mouth.
They're so stupid, but that shit is hilarious. Is that all I got for today? It looks like it. Alright, I'm going to end this stream. I appreciate you guys sticking through the technical difficulties. It's going to continue to get better. I'm just kind of finding my groove, so I'm not trying to get too much. But once I get better at this, I will start clipping it. We will start being more consistent. Make sure you check out my music channel. The link is in the description. I have a gaming channel. I haven't posted on it in months, but I'm debating going back to that. Also, if you have any questions, if you have videos that you recommend that I watch, comment them below if you're seeing this after. I really appreciate all the love, all the support, and I will see you soon.